All right, I got something kind of fun for you guys. Who is the most underrated player on this Detroit Lions roster? In fact, maybe I'll go and make a community post about this. Maybe it's already here, just a little preview into the video. This video, I'm recording in the morning, so it's 7 in the morning right now. This video will release tonight at 7. So when you're seeing it, it'll be 12 hours after I recorded it, because I got to record and then I go to work, right? This isn't the job, all right? So this is the fun, all right? So anyways, we have this, and we have this fun article from PFF that has the most underrated player on all 32 teams. You know I like PFF. Some of you hate PFF. The reason I like PFF is because it helps determine where players are struggling or excelling at positions that aren't as easy to just see with the eye test. All right? Don't sit here and tell me that you watch every single position well, all 11 positions on defense when you're watching a football game. Don't tell me you watch all 11 positions well on offense when you're watching the football game. If you're a normal NFL fan, you're watching the football, right? Like you're watching the football, you might be seeing what's going to develop. You might be pre-snap looking at what is the defense lined up in? What is the offense lined up in? You might be saying, all right, this is going to be a run. There's going to be a pass to the left, to the right. This would be a good, like you can get to a point where you start figuring out like, oh, we need to be in zone here on defense. Or is this a zone blitz? Or is this a man blitz? Are we blitzing? Like, yes, you can do all that kind of stuff. But unless you're a super fan, unless you're just a junkie and a nerd, no, that's not a bad thing, all right, when it comes to football. All right, when it comes to football. But, like, you're not going back and watching the film on all 22 players individually. You're not doing that. So PFF, the grading system at least helps a little bit. So they had an underrated player for each team, and they have a very interesting one for the Lions, which at first frustrated me, but stick around because here it is. Now, who is your most underrated player? I asked you in the beginning of this video, who is yours? Does it match up with PFF? Did you even view Alim McNeill as a possibility for being the most underrated player? I'm going to explain to you why I think he could be. All right, so here's what they said. Alim McNeill might be one of the most improved players of the 2023 season. The former third-round pick went from earning a 69.8 PFF overall grade in his second season to an 86.9 mark in 2023, which ranks 7th among interior defenders. 7th. He was just one of just 6 players at the position to earn a 75-plus run and pass rush grade last season. So, he was well-rounded, right? He was well-rounded. Here's the question. How does he fit in as an underrated player? As a Lions fan, do you feel like he's not extremely loved? Like, I mean, that's my question. Like, I kind of felt like I think he's going to – I love Alim McNeill. But then I started thinking to myself, we have all this money going out in big contracts. All this money is going out in big contracts. You got $53 million a year going to Goff. You got $28 million or whatever it is going to Sewell, and you have $30 million a year going to St. Brown. Just a ridiculous amount of money. I think it was, what was it, $440 million we just gave out in contracts? All right, a lot of money. So naturally, you start asking the question of who's next. And next year, one of those players that is due to get money is Alim McNeill. So based on the way he's playing last year, if he can replicate that again this year, he's playing like a $20 million defensive tackle. Do you want to pay him $20 million? Or do you believe he's that guy that should fall in the $10 to $15 million range? All right? Think about it like this. I'm not saying they're the same, so don't get mad at me. Think about it like this. Last year, raise your hand if you're watching right now. There's the old teacher coming out at me. Raise your hand if you wanted us to re-sign Jonah Jackson at $17 million. This is before we got Zeitler for $6 million. All right? Did you want us to re-sign Jonah Jackson for 17 or even 15 or even 14 or 13? All right? I think I was good with 12 million, maybe 10. All right? But he got 17 because when players hit the open market, they're worth a ton of money. All right, so if you have high belief in McNeil, you need to re-sign him now. All right, so you can get ahead of the curve on this. But where are you at with McNeil? Are you sitting there banging the drum, right? Are you banging the drum saying, give this man $20 million? Or are you like, well, hold on a second. Like, let's just hold on, right? Like, let's just take it easy for a second. I mean, like, do you think he'd take 14 or 15? Do you think he'd take 12 or 13? And now all of a sudden you have the makings of an underrated player. Now you have the makings of an underrated player. That's what I am talking about. That's what I'm talking about, is the difference between what you think someone is worth, all right, and then what you think they actually get paid. Like, there's a big difference. So I'm looking this up right now. Highest paid defensive tackles in the NFL. All right. I like using over the cap for this, and I'll pop it up on your screen here. All right. So I might have been a little bit low with my number of 20 million. All right. Chris Jones, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald retired, but he's still listed on here. Here's some of the players now that just signed contracts. You have Christian Wilkins, $27.5 million. Metabuke, $24 million. Derek Brown, $24 million. Quinnen Williams, $24 million. Jeffrey Simmons, $23 million. Buckner, $23 million. Payne, $22 million. Lawrence, $22 million. Look, this is where he's at. He's in this range if you're looking at that kind of thing. All right, Christian Barmore got $21 million, for crying out loud. All right, so when you look at that, he's underrated because I think as a fan base, I don't think we all view him as worth $23 million. And maybe it's a product of all the other talent on the team. Maybe we're sitting here saying, I would happily give Alim McNeill $23 million, but I would rather save it because we're going to have to give 28 to Hutch. So who would you like to re-sign? Would you rather have given money to Alim McNeill? Or would you rather be putting a contract out there for Ifeatu Melifonwu? Like, there are some other guys, Derek Barnes. Like, who do you want to keep around? I think that's a very interesting question that we have. We don't have a ton of players who are going to be doing a ton of money next year, which is good because we already got them locked up. It was going to be St. Brown. All right. It was going to be Goff. We already got it taken care of, but there's more players yet that are still out there, and we have to decide what we want to keep. That is why he's underrated, because you don't think he's worth the money, but he's playing like he is because he's a really good defensive tackle. A really good defensive tackle. All right, thanks for watching. Hey, we're almost at 20K. Let's get there. If you're still watching this video, we're 8 minutes in. Like, you must like something I'm saying, so hang out and hit that subscribe button. Get us to 20K if you haven't done it yet. Thanks so much for watching. See you on the next one.